on my Facebook page. It just started, so that might be a part of it. Hey. Yes. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Cup of Joe, episode number 8. That was an improvisation inspired by the forces that be, the magical forces, as it were. Let's see. Please share. Let's see. There's a way to share this video as a watch party, and that way you can watch the video, comment on it real time from your Facebook wall, along with your Facebook friends as well. So I encourage you to do that. Welcome to Cup of Joe, where we set our blasters to stun. Let's see. Gratitude. This week's gratitude for everyone out there who is taking a break. Practicing self-care. There's a lot of pressure, I think, to do and and there is a lot to do. It's true. But I think if we overdo things, then we become exhausted, and then we become paralyzed. And when we become paralyzed, nothing gets done. So. My moment of gratitude. Thank you for everyone who is trying to find that balance and figuring out how to take care of oneself, and in doing so, filling yourself up so that you may take care of others. Today's theme is mindset, and I am so excited to have artist extraordinaire and kind spirit, perhaps a fairy, maybe not, Josie Seid on. Let's go to Josie. Boom. Hi, Josie.
Hi.
Yay. We're going to have Josie back in just a second. She's fantastic, so please stick around because you're going to walk away from today's episode of Cup of Joe being like, yes. Yeah, okay. Please support this program. That's how we make sure that I can continue to do this. We have, boom, Venmo link right here, PayPal link right here, and in this very moment, boom, Venmo at Joe Kai. Booge. Nope. I'm gonna post it on the comments here so that you can support generously. But Facebook is annoying, and autocorrect is annoying. It's like continuing to add a period on the end of this phrase that I would not like for it to add a period. Speaking of which, can I even comment? I can't even comment. The feature is temporarily blocked. Funny story. Not so funny actually. Some Facebook friend was talking about how a man basically was very mean to her and told her you should just keep posting selfies of yourself instead of writing about the protests that are happening right now in Portland. And I wrote on that comment thread, I wrote men are trash. And then just yesterday night, I did it again. And now I am banned from posting on Facebook. I can't write comments. I can't like anything. All because I posited the opinion / fact that men are trash. Let's see, genocide, war, sexual assault, abuses of power, all these things. Throughout human history, I think we can pretty much say, maybe a few exceptions here and there, but probably not, are because of men, So hence, men are trash. But Facebook was not down with that. There are a lot of weak men at Facebook. Of course, I can also say this on Facebook Live, and it'll allow me to talk about this on a live platform. So, I guess thanks, Facebook. I am also on YouTube for those of you who are also feeling that Facebook might be a little stale. Let's see. Good morning, MS. We have M_S on YouTube. Comment test. Yes. How's it going? Boom. Everything's groovy over there. Let's see. I'm going to write it down there too. Venmo at Joe Kai. Also auto-corrected because that's a Mac thing. PayPal, joe@joekai.com. like Apple controls what we say, right? I mean, all this autocorrect thing, business. Like I'm not even free to make typos. I have to delete and then type it wrong again, multiple times in order for it to accept that. How annoying. Okay, we're moving on. That was my spiel about the tech world that we live in. This will be the opposite of that. Today, the theme is mindset, and so I wanted to do a little bit of a meditative improvisation. So wherever you are, if you're at home, if you're in your pajamas, if you're out on a run, then maybe make sure to continue to look out and so you don't trip. But I want everyone to just kind of take a breath and open themselves up to the world around them, and that we allow the things that have become ordinary in our lives to regain some of its extraordinary nature. So this is an improvisation based on that. Let it come to pass that your countenance shines on me. Let it come to pass that your joy smiles on me. Like the flowers in the tree, and the birds and the bees, let your countenance fall down on me. And the cats meow. And the babies cry and they laugh. And I sit for a while. And the river flows. And the dandelions grow. And the mice roar and sleep this morning. Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. Oh man, mindset. Sometimes it just takes a reframing, I think, and to open yourself up to the possibility of the world around you for magic to strike. Man, I've been talking with Josie a lot. I'm talking about magic. Okay, Kids Corner. Yes, children in the audience. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Cup Joe. Let's see. Today I wanted to do a little bit of sound effects because you can always like pretend you can use your mouth, like. But the cool thing about musical instruments is that you don't just have to play, music, etc., etc. You can make all sorts of different sounds. And so I'm gonna give you two different settings. And you can try to guess what they are. Here's the first one. Here we go. No. Stop making sounds. Okay, here we go. Setting number 1.
Shiver me timbers.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, for those of you who guessed ocean, you would be correct. The ocean, Wayne. Boom, Wayne with the correct guess. All right. Yes, good morning, Kim. Indeed, this is a new Jokai tune for me. It was new for all of us. It was new for me too. It happened in that moment. Okay, next little place here. Let's see here. Sound effects using the violin.
Next stop, I did my race swimming. Make sure to have your tickets early.
Because all train announcers sound like that. They just train, yes, Ionic Bond, indeed. Ghost Train specifically. I'm pretty sure it was a ghost train. Destination, Ghostland. Okay, here we go. Ah, yes. Yes, and for our final sound effect, a really simple one, but I wanted to combine it with a little bit of a story. So this was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I was touring. Actually, this was like 10 years ago. I was touring with my collegiate a cappella group called the Society of Orpheus and Bacchus. And it must have been Oklahoma, rural Oklahoma, or somewhere kind of in that mid east south region. And we got out. We were stretching our legs at a gas station. We realized that this little town. Oh wait, I gotta turn off the baby monitor. Hold on. Unless you want to hear that, I mean, you may want to hear that, but I certainly don't want to hear that. Anyway, so we're in rural Oklahoma. We're at a gas station, a little town, and we realized that this town, it was a special day. They were having their kind of annual festival, and in this festival they had this contest, and we're like, wow, what's going on? Let's take a break. Let's watch what's going on. And so, you had all these people who were lined up, and there's a pile of bricks, and one by one they would step up to this pile, grab a brick, and then throw it into the air, and everyone would watch the brick as they threw it up. Whoa! And so I asked one of the people, like, what's going on? What's happening here? And they're like, well, this is a brick throwing contest. This is what we do. This is what we do in rural Oklahoma. Do you still hear that? Because I hear that. It has nothing to do with the baby monitor. They're just at the top of the stairs wailing. So, brick throwing contest in rural Oklahoma, and so every person in line would come up. They would grab a brick, large brick, about a football-sized brick, and they would throw it into the air, and the crowd would gasp and ooh and ah at everyone who would throw higher than the last. And so there was one person that walked up. Little, kind of looked like me, maybe a man in his 30s, walks up, grabs a brick, and he throws it into the air. And then the audience is like, wow, that was really awesome. Great job. And then we have this little girl. She was probably, I don't know, around like 10 or 11, somewhere like 5th, 6th grade, walks up, everyone's like, oh, this is so cute, ha ha ha. And then she grabs a brick, and then she had this weird wind up, like Hideo Nomo type of wind up, and then throws it into the air before it comes down with the splatter. We were like, oh my God, that's amazing. How did she do that? Third guy, this guy, clearly like had used steroids or ate a lot of Wheaties. He was big guy, and he grabs a brick, and this guy throws it like so high into the air, and it's like. Huh. Okay, so we're moving on. We are going on to the wonderful, wonderful special guest that we have here today. Josie Seid is an amazing author. She is a playwright, an actor, visual artist. I think it's safe to say that in our profession we like to call these people artists because that's what they do. They create. So please, all the Cup of Joe listeners, watchers out there, give a warm round of applause for Josie Seid. Pew, 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 pew. Woo, woo, woo. Hi, Josie.
Hey!
How are you doing?
I am doing so great. So great.
Where are you right now?
I am in beautiful Cannon Beach, Oregon.
So the ocean, was it like comparable? Was it, what's the call here?
Oh, it was glorious. It was glorious. It was everything that my soul needed.
Yes to that. Yes to that. Okay, so awesome having you here. I'm so excited to delve into this idea of mindset. But first, we have our regular Cup of Joe questions. And first of all, how do you identify yourself?
Oh, that's a great question. I am a human. I am totally a mom, a partner. I'm a thinker. I'm a dreamer. I'm a lover. I am a smiler.
Yeah, you are.
And I'm a sliver of mischief.
Woo! A sliver of mischief. Amazing.
Yes, a dastardly schemer.
Okay, yes. Oof. Okay, a sliver of mischief. I like that visual. Not the full thing, just a little sliver. Yeah. Okay, cool. Moving on to the next question. As we ask all our guests, your earliest memory, if you have a childhood memory that you would like to share with our viewers.
1969. Mother's womb. Start in here. I'm troubled by some kind of thing. Must be an astronaut. No, actually, I was 4 years old. My granny had a stroke, and I had decided that I was going to help her talk again because I don't know, because I was a smart kid. I was reading when I was real young. Granny was really proud, so I had to trick her. So what I did was I took my little kid ABC books, the books, A is for apple, B is for ball, and I got her to read to me these books, knowing that, like, sounding through these letters and these words, somewhere in my 4-year-old brain, I think I might have been 3, that that would be the practice that she needed. Yeah, I can literally remember myself digging through my little toy box and walking my tiny little self down to her room and hauling myself up on her bed. Yeah.
Helping others by pretending to help yourself.
She
right?
was a schemer. She was a schemer, even when she was young. She was a schemer.
Classic Josie. Sliver of educational mischief. Amazing. All right, so we're gonna do a little collaboration here.
Yay.
Yeah, would you like to introduce our collaboration?
I would. So, one of the things I do is I write just books. And there's a book I wrote. It's all about magic, of course, because that's who I am. Called The Realms of Fae. In this excerpt I'm reading, especially edited for this program, our protagonist, David, the female, who is beautiful and who knows fairy magic but doesn't know that she knows fairy magic, happens upon someone who may just well be poisoned.
Poison.
Shall we begin?
Please.
Okay. David took a few steps into the room and the door was closed behind her. As soon as the door shut, David could smell the odor of sickness in the air. This was not, however, a cold or influenza smell. No, it was not a biological malady at all. It was not the burning blood smell of an internal infection or the rotting meat smell of some kind of cancer. This smell was botanical in nature.
Ooh.
It was muddled a bit with the sweating smell of fever, but David was certain someone in the dwelling had been poisoned. "Where is the one who has been taken with this illness?" she said. "It is our mother. She is this way." Princess Josephine led the way to an opening behind a large tapestry. Beyond the fabric was a room fit for a queen. In the center of her room was an enormous canopy bed with curtains that masked the occupant from view. A wordless exchange requested entry, and wordlessly the requests were granted. David approached the curtain and pulled it gently aside. The smell of poison took her breath away. She began to give orders in rapid succession. Get a kettle and bring it to a full pot. Get a kettle and bring a full pot of water to a fierce boil. I will need a large basket and 5 squares of cloth. Prepare a large vessel of ice-cold milk. I shall require a bowl and pestle to grind roots. Cook a meal, for she will be hungry when she comes to. Have a fresh change of clothes standing by and clean dressings for the bed. With those final orders, David was out the door. It was as if she were watching herself from the heavens. She was not altogether in that time and place as she dashed from the cottage into the forest. A little pinch of that, a little pinch of this. Bind them tight, lay them flat. Careful those two do not meet, lest o'er death you like to weep. Choose only those who've kissed the sun. Reject the sullen, shadowed ones. The chant echoed in David's ears. She did not know how she knew it or even how she knew what it meant, but she knew she must obey the instructions. If she had done this before, she could not recall, but the process was as familiar to her as second nature. Time was of the essence. She knew this somehow, quickly and efficiently, she continued her task. Your healing, your touch, this must not know. Purse your lips and gently blow. She bent down and breathed on the petals of the bush. The flowers were so delicate, nearly translucent. 3 of the fragile-looking petals broke away from the stem, perfectly intact and unharmed. They floated into the air and danced of their own power in a magical breeze that was not blowing. They spun and turned and waited, suspended in midair, just in front of David's nose. She unfolded the piece of cloth, and she held it in her palm. The petals crumbled into tiny granules of silver dust and poured into her open hand. She folded the corners over, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in half, finally into quarters. She placed the packet into her now full basket of ingredients and started for the cottage. Final thing, for as you know, the spirit needs somewhere to go. David had almost forgotten. When curing someone of poison, it was important to give the exiting anchor some place to land. It was a little-known fact that most sickness, and especially a maliciously planted condition such as poison, had a spirit attached to it. This is what anchors the concoction within its unwilling host. The worst part is that these spirits often live by a finder's keeper's code at best. At worst, it was an entitlement complex that had to be dealt with, and they were not going to give up their real estate without a fight. Specifically, if they were to relinquish this host, they required something else to kill. Those unfortunate seekers of a cure who had not been aware of this fact had found their patients ripped apart from the inside out, and most painfully so. To find the host, the healer must send a request out into the earth itself. A creature would hear the call and come forth, if there was a willing sacrifice. The spirit was particular and would not reside in any host. A host who was diseased, close to death, or unstable of mind would not be tolerated. David felt unworthy to make the request. Still, she was compelled to finish what she had begun. In the midst of the forest, she stopped, lifted her face to the heavens, extended her arms, and began the song of sacrifice. She did not know this song, but it knew her. The melody, if it could be called that, floated from her mouth, caressing her lips as it exited. The song was ancient, older than the wind and newer than the first bud of spring. It coaxed and flattered, begged and threatened, sung in a language that rendered the tongue a dancer. It moved through every living thing, asking, inquiring, promising, warning. Only the most kind, the most brave, the most desperate, or a tangled combination would answer this call. It spoke to all while communicating to one. To the responder, the offering of a gift both coveted and terrifying, to be truly seen. Jade green eyes opened. The song had answered. One would have thought he had been lingering in the ground waiting for this moment, and one would have been completely correct.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
That was
amazing,
awesome.
Josie.
You were way too quiet. I wanted you to play through that whole thing.
I was there. I was there. Just just a little slivers, slivers. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Well, thank
That
you.
was
That was
yeah.
glorious. Made me feel like
Oh my
not a
God,
hack.
hack. I mean, we all feel like hacks from time to time, but I think it's it's with collaboration and kind of these moments of sharing and co-building that we convince ourselves that we're not hacks, or at least we're hacking together. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, okay, so magic. So what? I'm curious. Magic is something that I recently watched one of your plays that was on the Portland Center Stage Facebook page, I think, or it's also on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm and I'm just curious about
Yeah.
magic in general. It seems to be like a pretty common theme throughout your work. And what is it about magic that appeals to you so much?
Yeah. Left to my own devices, when I'm writing, there's always going to be something magical. It's an escape. And it's also my way of um, embodying hope,
Mm,
I think. It's sometimes it's hard for people to like imagine, what does hope feel
mm,
like. Hope feels like that thing that you're not expecting, that kind of blows your mind, but you had always been holding your breath for it to show up, you
mm,
know and that's
mm,
magic. That's magic. And it's a place to rest. It's a place where you can believe that something good is going to happen. So yeah, I think that's what it was. Ever since I was a little kid, I was into magic, and we'll have to have a sit down and have a cup of wine in the Jove cup
mm.
and talk about my childhood, because it wasn't always awesome. It
Mm,
wasn't always awesome. But I had my fairy tales, and I believed in magic.
mm.
And here I am at the Oregon coast, looking back on it
Yeah.
all.
I remember reading Matilda and just being filled with with hope and possibility, I think.
Yeah,
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 and it
yeah.
kind of gives us that sense that maybe, and that's what I loved about the original Star Wars. before the force was reduced to like bacteria that live in your blood cells, and some people have it, some people don't. Instead, the force was there for everyone to be tapped into, and it would imbue
Yeah.
these special powers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did
So,
the same thing with Harry Potter too. We were all waiting for an owl to show up with a welcome to Hogwarts.
yep.
Hogwarts mail.
Yep.
Huh. Um, huh. I guess, I mean, especially considering the times right now, what I guess sometimes I feel like escapism, it can make me feel guilty. Um,
hmm
yeah, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, the other word for escapism is
Mm,
self
mm,
care, right? And when you don't do self care, you begin to wither,
mm,
um, and um, you begin to eat yourself from the
oof.
inside out. You know, um, escapism is self care. It's taking a minute to step aside, and building yourself back up, spending time with something that makes you feel strong inside, that lets you
Mm,
breathe. How many times do you, and it might not be a fairy tale, but how many times do you do something that you love and not come away feeling like, okay, I'm ready,
mm,
I can do this,
yeah.
right? That's what escapism is,
Hmm.
you know? Um, but it's the adjective maybe that's off-putting. People don't
Mm,
want to escape because they feel like, that's not that's not brave, that's not being down with the
mm,
cause. But live to
mm.
fight another day.
Maybe just go be magical for a bit.
Go be
Yeah, just
magical
take
for a
a
bit.
just take a fiver. Go be
Right.
magical. Just take a 5 minute magic break.
Yes.
Um, yeah,
Yes.
I've recently started reading the Ursula Le Guin kind of Earthsea fantasy books, and I learned a lot about. I think kind of what you're saying about how we can learn so much about ourselves and take with us things that can help us act in the real world, that actually are directly applicable.
Yep.
For much of the first book, the protagonist, this wizard, is chasing this dark shadow, and there's so many metaphors about the darkness within ourselves and kind of the inner demons that we have to face. But being able to explore that in a beautifully written, magical, controlled environment, is it's designed to give you that sense of hope.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, exactly,
mm,
exactly. And in fairy tales, like I think we talked about this a little bit before. One of my favorite quotes is by Neil Gaiman, and I'm going to mess it up, but essentially it says, "We love fairy tales not because they're dragons, but because it shows the dragons can be
mm,
conquered or
mm,
defeated." um and that's it, right? It's like, you see, when I'm looking at something, ooh, don't let me see a dragon, I get all excited, because a dragon holds such
mm,
possibility, right? Either you're going to be able to befriend it, and then you've got an ally, right? Or you defeat it, and you've conquered the beast. But
mm,
it's all good. It's all
mm.
good.
And the preparations thereof, right? Mentally, spiritually, physically, to even get to the point of
Yeah,
even meeting the
yeah,
dragon, right? There's so much work that the protagonist usually does
yeah.
before that. Yeah.
Yep, yep,
Mm,
exactly,
mm.
exactly. Yeah. You leave those stories. Don't you leave those stories feeling like, come
Yes.
on, world, I
I
got
mean,
good news.
this wizard conquered a
Yeah,
dragon the size of a castle with talons the size of men. It's like, okay, great. I think I can deal with two
yeah.
screaming babies.
Come on now, right?
Although, mini dragons, I would say I got twin dragons at home. They can
You got twin
sometimes
dragons.
yeah, sometimes they win.
You have to figure out how to work with them. Can't keep them.
Totally right. You're right. I have to create allies. Yeah. Uh, Amazing. Well, I could talk with you forever because even now, look at the smile on my face. I'm when we first started working with each other on the Brothers Paranormal thing. There's such
Yeah.
a sense of calm and just spiritual well-being that you emanate from yourself as a creative person, but also as just a person, and it's amazing. And I just want you to know it's very inspiring, and thank you for it.
Oh, you stop it. I can't even. You're
No.
so kind. Well, I want
Oh.
you to know, since we're doing this, since we're hurling accolades, the first time I heard
Stupefied.
you play, I was like, oh,
Oh.
it's magical. He's making magic. He's making sounds that ain't supposed to
Mm.
come from that thing. That's magic. That is magic. Finding another way to
Mm.
get it done.
Mm. I salute your wand. One thing that I love to do with all the guests is to promote. And let's see, we have first of all, we the two of us and some other amazing artists have a super secret upcoming collaboration. Details to come, perhaps later in August. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Better pay attention now. Yeah.
Stay tuned.
And then you're also working on a holiday play called Fezziwig's Fortune.
Right.
Fezziwig, the character lifted from A Christmas Carol. It's a collaboration with Sarah Jean Acquardi and with the Line Storm Playwright Collective.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
holidays. It's hard to think about that right now for me.
Oof, it's not for this holiday coming up. Ain't nobody
Okay.
going nowhere this holiday. This one is for the stage. This is for when we can all be together and smell each other's breath.
Nice. Okay. Yes. If you are interested in smelling other people's breath, please look up the Line Storm Playwright Collective on Facebook. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. The other thing. So usually, then we say bye, and I promote buy local. But instead I wanted to plug Food Core, which is the place that you work at during
Yeah.
the day. And do you care to tell us a little bit about Food Core and its mission and kind of what it is?
Yes, yes. Food Corps is an organization that puts service members into schools to work with kids, hands-on learning around like nutrition and just getting them excited about making
Hmm.
healthy food choices. One of the special, glorious things about Food Corps is that they they work to do things like addressing food insecurity, and letting kids know, where their food comes from. You can make a little garden anywhere. Um, and usually, if you grow it, you're going to want to eat it. You get a little, you get a little attached to it. So
Hmm.
you're like, hey, I grew the carrot that I wouldn't eat, 3 months ago, but now I can't wait to bite
Hmm.
into it. Um, so they do all that work. And now with
Hmm.
COVID, uh, it's like I am we hear at our staff meetings, stories about these amazing humans that they have working with these kids and their creativity and imagination and how they're still getting these messages and these
Hmm.
lessons to these kids. So yeah, so that's who they are. They're glorious, and they work a lot in
Uh,
underserved communities, which is even better. um,
Food
so
magic,
yeah, yeah, nationwide organization.
right? You
It's food
just put some
magic.
seeds in the
It's food magic.
ground, then you do some like spells and stuff, and then
All of a sudden, what is this coming out of the
magic.
ground? Why does it taste so good?
Because of
It's magic.
yeah, well, the magic that exists within all of us. Sorry to go there, but that's me.
Yes.
Amazing,
Share your
and
sparkle.
that is you. Please give a warm round of applause for Josie Seid. Please check out all of her work because she is amazing. Josie, wonderful talking with you, and I can't wait for our upcoming collaboration.
Woohoo! Me neither. Thank you. Thank you. It's glorious to be
And
here.
with that, see you soon. Bye
Yes,
bye. Choo. And we're back. Josie's amazing. As you can see, I am such a smile on my face. Please check her out. Yeah, I was, I guess, a tiny little story to add, which is that I was on tour. Hey, no, we've been talking. Let's play some music. I'm gonna do some music. Here we go. has come, and the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. When the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, and the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry when the sky I won't cry. No, I won't shed a tear. Just as long as you stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Darling, trouble just to stand by me. Oh, stand by me. 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 Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. So I was on tour. This must have been 2014, somewhere around there. I'm on a plane. I forget. I think I'm going to the East Coast. We're almost done with the trip, getting close to New York. And it's a packed flight. This is before the time of COVID, and I'm sitting there. We have I have a lady. I'm kind of in the middle seat, which is like this as it is. On the left, I have a lady who has her chihuahua who's just like yapping the whole flight, like. And then on my right, I have this big dude who's he's got his elbows like this, and I'm kind of like, please don't eat me or something. We're almost there. I've made it through the flight, and this guy, he pulls out a cigar. he's like, this is 2014. What are you doing, man? And so then he pulls out his cigar, he puts it in his mouth, and then he takes out his lighter, and he starts smoking this cigar on this plane. And I'm like, oh my God, I gotta say something. And just as I was about to do that, the lady, Chihuahua lady, is like, hey, and she looks over across from me, and she's like, you can't smoke that in here. That's bad. Like, I have asthma. My Chihuahua has asthma. This is terrible. Like, you got to put that out. And the guy's like, I can do whatever I want. And he takes a big puff and blows the cigar smoke into the air. And the Chihuahua lady starts losing it. She's like, I'm going to like call the air marshals, like, blah, like, I'm going to like, put that out right now. And the guy's like, I'm just going to do whatever I want. He blows a big, and then she's like, you know what? Like, you better take that out right now or else. And he's like, what are you going to do? Like, what? Make me put it out. She reaches over, grabs the cigar from his mouth, opens the window of this airplane and throws the cigar out the window. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Of course, the guy is the burly guy. He's super angry. He reaches over, grabs the Chihuahua lady's Chihuahua, and throws the Chihuahua out the window right after the cigar. Just. And, this is it's a lot of drama on a plane. Luckily, the Chihuahua lady had a leash on the dog. She was still holding onto the leash. And so then she yanks the dog back, through the window. And guess what the Chihuahua had in its mouth? A brick. All right, share a cup of Joe. If you don't get that joke, then you weren't here for the brick throwing contest. So yeah, you should tune in at the beginning of Cup of Joe. Come on. Share a cup of Joe. If you know someone who you think will enjoy it, please tag them here. Or better yet, share the stream on your Facebook page, Facebook profile next week. Next week, speaking of, we have an amazing high school guest, Diego Garita, who is a young choreographer in the New York City area. I collaborated with him, creating on my end a piece of music that is all about migrant children and kind of the suffering that they're facing, the splitting of families. And he in turn created and recorded a Zoom choreographed dance. This was all thanks to a group called Young Dance Makers Company. So please tune in next week because it'll be awesome. Please support via Venmo or PayPal. We have Venmo right here and PayPal, joe@joekai.com. Your generous support is how I keep this thing going. So please do support. I really appreciate it. And now it's time for the dance party. Oh, wait. We got to go to Josie. Josie, you ready to dance? Yes, let's go. Here we go. That's what it is.
Is that what it is? Okay.
I keep messing up.
Come
all
on,
right.
Joe. Hold on.
talking about magic. Magic. We talking about 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 magic. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Cup of Joe. We talking about magic. I'll see you next week. Josie Seid, thank you so much for being an awesome guest. And being a better dancer, honestly, the conversation, but we talking about magic. 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 We talking about magic. About magic. We talking about No, we're not. And 3, 2, 1, bye bye.